Lecture we are going to explore about the Presspull in detail. Presspull is one of the very important tool in the 3D modeling in AutoCAD, and if you want to quickly edit or create the 3D models, then Presspull is best for that. Let me show you how. So firstly, you can see that on my screen you can see that I have created a 2D sketch. It's a very simple sketch, but it's very good for the Presspull demonstration. And firstly, where do you find the Presspull tool? You will find it inside this modeling section. Right in front of the extrude, you will see a small icon, and that is the Presspull. Many people confuse about the difference between the extrude and the Presspull. So firstly, let's just discuss about the difference. The major difference is if you are going to select the extrude, it will going to create the extrusion, but it will going to select the boundaries, whereas Presspull will going to select the areas. So if I'm going for the extrude, then it will going to select the only this boundary and it will going to create the extrusion. But if you are using the Presspull, then it will dynamically and intelligently select the area, and accordingly it will going to create the extrusion. So extrude only works with the boundaries, whereas Presspull works with both boundaries as well as the area. This is what makes Presspull a very powerful tool. Let's just see this in practical. If I'm going to select the extrude, and if I'm going to select the object, it will going to ask you to select the object. It will only going to select that boundary, and it will going to create the extrusion. You can see that if I have created this extrusion with the extrude, it will not going to consider these inside shapes that I have created. Let me just change it. On the other hand, if I'm going for the Presspull, and if I'm going to hover inside this part, you can see that it dynamically selects the area and it will going to create the extrusion accordingly. So now you can see that it will going to consider those shapes, and accordingly it has created the cut features. So this is how powerful the Presspull is. Now the second step is how you can just define the value of extrusion. So it's very simple. Whatever after selecting the object, here it will going to ask you to specify the height of the extrusion, provide the value, and accordingly it will going to create the extrusion. So I have provided 50, so it has created this 50 of extrusion of value 50. If you want to change that direction, you can just add -50 and it will going to reverse its direction. You can even select the boundaries. So if I'm going for the Presspull, and if I'm going to select only this square boundary, then you can see that it will going to behave similar to the extrusion, and it will only going to extrude this outer boundary. Similarly, if I'm going to select the any inside boundary like this one, you can see that it will only going to extrude that circular feature. So Presspull can do the task of extrude as well. Now you can see that I have created one extrusion like this, and make sure that you have your dynamic UCS on. If I'm make this on, and now you can easily able to create the sketches on the faces of 3D model like this. So you can see that I have created a circular feature, and now if I'm going to again go for the Presspull, and if I'm going to select the area of this inside area of this circular feature, you can see that it will going to behave as a remove material tool, and it will going to remove the material that is basically of this box. Similarly, if I'm going to select the boundaries, so let's say that I have selected this boundary instead of selecting the area, you can see that instead of cutting the 3D model, it has created the solid body. So here the selection is matters most. If you have selected the boundaries, it has created the extruded value, and if you have selected the inside region or the area, it is behaving as a cutting body, and it is going to cut out that solid model from this base model. Now one more interesting thing about the Presspull is doesn't work only with the sketch. You can even extrude or do the editing of 3D models. So here you can see that if I'm going to select the press pull and if I'm going to select this face, so here you can see that we don't have any kind of sketch, but still if I'm going to select this face, you can do the extrusion of 3D model. So this is how powerful the press pull is. You can even further extrude or remove the material from the 3D model as well without creating the sketch. Similarly, if I'm going to select this and if I'm going to press it inside, you can see that it will going to remove the material accordingly. And it's not random. You can even provide the value, like let's say that you want to extrude this face to the value of 100. So if I'm going to select this in this direction, I want it to 100, so I'm going to provide the value, and accordingly it has extruded it to 100. So this is how you can use Presspull to create and edit the 3D model. I hope that you like this lecture. Please do follow and subscribe this channel for the updates like this. Thank you and catch up you in the next one.